as Shadowlands was announced, we all had a wish list of characters we would like to see the new expansion. However, the expansion came out nearly a year ago and, well, like none of the characters are actually present. Where is Tirion? Where is Deathwing? What is going on? Are we actually going to see them? Are they even in the afterlife? Luckily, the latest book, Grimoire of the Shadowlands, gave us a few hints that might explain their whereabouts or the lack thereof. If you ever wanted to record your raids, arenas, Mythic Plus, check out Squad OV. The app records itself without a click of a button. You can see complete encounter stats, spell visualizations, analyze performance, and you can also watch your friend's perspective. Best of all, you can do it from anywhere just from the web app. Use the link in the description to check out the sponsor Squad OV completely free. The Grimoire of the Shadowlands is the latest art book, and while underwhelming in its information, because let's be honest, it really isn't the new version of the Chronicle. Chronicle was like an encyclopedia. The Grimoire is more like a version of you going to a wiki page to learn more about something that's already in the game, and there is like one vague paragraph about it. However, even so, through that paragraph, we might get some answers to these questions, and most importantly, we might see what direction we could be going in the future. So, the book is through the perspective of the brokers, and thus far it seems like they have the most up-to-date and the least biased version of what exactly is going on with the afterlife, how souls work, and just the general process behind it. We learn about the Arbiter, how it analyzes souls, and how the Arbiter goes through a soul so quick that you can't even measure time. As you are well aware of at this point, anima is the currency of the afterlife, and that is how pretty much everything functions. Anima is in proportion to one's life, so the more significant and extraordinary life experiences of the individual were, the more powerful his soul is. So really, one big guy can be as powerful as 1,000 average individuals, and well, anima is the lifeblood of every realm, and the more anima the realm has, the more powerful it is. So really, it would be of no surprise that each realm would want the powerful guys in their own ranks, as that way their realm can be stronger. Now, obviously the first ones put a lid on this through the Arbiter, so the Arbiter, which should be like the objectivity incarnate, decides akin to a computer what realm, what souls will be assigned to you, and you know, this is all fine and dandy, but here is the key thing to consider, and something I've actually talked about in multiple videos. Do you remember how there are actually many realms of the Shadowlands and not just the 5 that you can visit, and how Blizzard, even at the start, said that Shadowlands is not the only afterlife? For example, the Titans have their own versions of the afterlife, so by that logic, it would be completely reasonable to assume that Shadowlands is only for the mortals, and that each cosmological force has their own life and death cycle. Well, seeing as they're battling for supremacy, it would make sense that each cosmological force might try to claim powerful individuals for themselves and not just allow them to go into the Shadowlands and to empower their own nemesis. I'm guessing, for example, the Light would also want the anima in the Lightlands, and they wouldn't just willingly give away their champions to the Shadowlands. Now, this has been my speculation for quite some time now, but what does the book actually say about this? What do we have outside of just sheer speculations and blindly connecting the dots? We have essentially 3 bits of information. It is all but confirmed that if a soul is tethered by a sufficiently powerful source, that Kyrians, the ones in charge of taking it to the Shadowlands, either nudge the soul back into the mortal plane or they give it to the force that claims it. We have 2 examples of this from the book, which might not be directly related to our fabled lost characters that we want to see in the game, but it might just explain the general process behind all this stuff. Apparently, the wife of Cairn Bloodhoof lingered in the mortal plane after her passing to watch over her mate and her son, and she was able to reject the Kyrian that came for her soul because Cairn never left her in life, which allowed her to linger in the mortal plane. As you are aware, the Tauren believe in the Spirit Walkers, but the brokers kinda reject this and think it is just BS and that all the Tauren are just subject to mass delusion. However, delusion or not, her spirit was there, and this really is nothing out of the ordinary when you really think about it. We have constantly seen lingering spirits and ghosts on Azeroth that had unfinished business and just something holding them back. So I would guess this is also the same thing. Now, the second better example in my opinion is the entire Wisp situation on Azeroth, which is yet another explanation of this process. Until just about a month or two ago, this was just a complete mystery, we could only speculate, but as we had for the first time seen Elune and we know what she is, it really makes total sense. From the most up-to-date information, Elune is in very general terms a life Titan, but really she is of the Pantheon of Life. As you know, you have the Pantheon of Order, the Titans, the Pantheon of Death, the Eternal Ones. I'm guessing we also have the Pantheon of the Void and the Light, but what is confirmed is that we have the Pantheon of Life. Now, Elune as a Life Titan has her favorite children, and we have seen what she can do, good or bad. Really, it seems like she can just play with their lives. We know that she allowed the souls to go to Ardenweald, or unfortunately they ended up in the after the burning of Teldrassil, but it does seem like her regular practice since forever was to keep her children or a portion of her children as wisps. The book talks about wisps as soul-shaped form of night elves that linger within the mortal plane, and instead of going away and giving their anima to the Shadowlands, they instead continue to provide the anima to the realm, further empowering the life as a cosmological force. It really makes total sense when you think about it. These gods just use their lives as currency, and as we had seen, Elune just wanted to send a bit of money to her sister in need. Now, I also wouldn't be surprised if they shift the lore around to explain how Elune gave immortality to the Night Elves, maybe to spite her sister and to deny anima, or to just keep her children within the material plane as long as possible. So yeah, this is all cool and everything, but what does all this information really mean for characters like Tirion, Gul'Dan, or even Deathwing? Well, really, if we assume this is correct, it just makes total sense. If Elune can keep souls for herself, why can't the Light or the Void or even Order do the exact same thing, seeing that they probably have their own afterlife versions as well? It would make total sense that those dedicated to some of these cosmological forces were so empowered by them that they weren't just regular mortals, but that they became more light than, for example, human. So in the case of Tirion, as we knew he was pretty much light incarnate, it would totally be reasonable that he was claimed by the Light, and that the Light intervened and stopped the Tirion from taking him to the Shadowlands. Gul'Dan, if he was not destroyed, was 100% a demon by the end. In the case of Deathwing, he might either be in the Void afterlife or the Titan one. Seeing he was empowered by the Titans and was an aspect, that side might have prevailed, but as he was also corrupted by the Void to a large extent, it is entirely possible that this is also where he could have been taken. However, a good counter-argument to this is, wait, Uther was a paladin, a strong paladin, but he is in the Shadowlands, and I gotta say that is a good counter-argument, but my thoughts are two things. The Light did intervene and save a part of his soul, but maybe he was not so powerful to go to the Light Halls himself. However, what I think could be more likely is that Uther was never really all that much into the Light. He may have been a really good paladin, he loved to serve, protect, he had really strong morals and a purpose, but he was not a Light fanatic, which is why he might be a better pick for Bastion and not really the Light afterlife. I know I may be stretching it a bit, but really this might definitely explain why some of the most important characters in WoW are not in Shadowlands, and it might also give us a bit of space to explore other afterlives as well as other cosmological forces, which could lead us into future expansions. Thank you for watching. Check out what are 10 fan theories that were completely debunked by clicking on the screen, and also check out Doronsmovies Academy for videos on real world history and science. See you next time.